Vermont, 1950. You want me to love you, but you don't love me now. Why should I give my heart to you? We gonna shut that motor down. I've been searching for you for a long time now, but you've left my heart's vision. Now you want me to stay in your life. That won't happen again. No, you said no. I said no. Can't blame you. No. I like that book. So what's going on, everybody? I'm Untitled Crawford, and before I show you guys this video, just wanted to say this one's gonna be raggedy. Man, I had to shoot this in the spur of the moment. I was just feeling it, passionate. I was actually in line at one of the receivers that I was delivering to down in Scottsville, Kentucky. So you guys don't mind the raw and amateur style of the video. Just listen to what I say, and hopefully from my experience, I hope you guys might find the recommendation you know, beneficial, or should I say persuasive. The vibe of this book was so creepy that for the backdrop of this raggedy video that I'm gonna show y'all, I'm gonna have some campfire going. You're gonna hear some crackling, because it just seems like Simone St. James wrote a book that the narrator was telling me over campfire with some marshmallows, some s'mores. You know, you put the marshmallows with the graham crackers. I worked at a camp, okay? I know what's going on with them creepy vibes, man. You talking about all kind of crackling. The kids are asleep, you know what I mean? They in there in the cabins or whatnot, and all the counselors, you know, we disobeying the rule. We gonna go on out there. Might be some drinks, might not be. You ain't hear that from me. But it was that kind of vibe, and so just enjoy the video. I like that book. It's back up on you. My name is Charlie Crawford, and I want to talk about Simone St. James's book, The Broken Girls. It's a twisty-turny book. It's genre heavy with a lot of suspense. What was that? Is that inside? Oh, I hope like hell that ain't inside. What is that? Some big ass mosquito is what it was. My window's up. Play no games. Anyway, like I said, it's genre heavy, a lot of suspense, some thrill moments, and a lot of horror. You know, a lot of times books aren't as scary as movies because, you know, you're not visually seeing what they try to scare you with. But this book right here literally scared me, man. There's ghosts, there's creepy ass buildings, there's you know, ghosts of murders past. You know, there's hauntings going on. There's dead babies and stuff like that. I'm talking about all kinds of stuff that make your skin crawl with that creepy stuff, right? And believe it or not, one time I was driving. I think I was in Pennsylvania, and I was on one of them back roads, man. Small town. I'm talking about people walking out of convenience stores just staring at you type of places, man. You don't want to get broken down at these type of places, what I'm talking about. And it was kind of during one of the creepiest parts of the book, and it nearly scared me to death, man. I'm talking about chill bumps on top of chill bumps. You ain't click on the video just to see what's going on with my trucking. You wanted to see what's going on with the broken girls. And so I tell you what's going on with them. So again, I'm on Libby, and so here's the summary. Vermont, 1950. There's a place for the girls whom no one wants, right? The troublemakers, the illegitimate, the too smart for their own good. It's called Idlewild Hall. So this is where these girls go to. And in the small town where it's located, there are rumors that the boarding school is haunted. 4 roommates bond over their whispered fears, their budding friendship blossoming until one of them mysteriously disappears. Now that's not, you want to get some popcorn right now. I know you do. Now, Vermont, 2014. As much as she's tried, journalist Fiona Sheridan cannot stop revisiting the events surrounding her older sister's death. 20 years ago, her body was found lying in the overgrown fields near the ruins of Idlewild Hall. And though her sister's boyfriend was tried and convicted of murder, Fiona can't shake the suspicion that something was never right about the case. So when Fiona discovers that Idlewild Hall is being restored by an anonymous benefactor, she decides to write a story about it. But a shocking discovery during the renovations will link the loss of her sister to secrets that were meant to stay hidden in the past and a voice that won't be silenced. Now, what you just heard, I believe, was the plot. And that's what a lot of people is going to click on. And that's good, because in order to sell a book, you need something that's going to grab, right? And so you hear the horror elements. You hear, oh man, there's a ghost. There is a murder that happened in the past that, you know, a certain family member, which happened to be the protagonist, can't let go. You hear boarding school. Oh man, you hear all kinds of good, juicy elements that make you want to, like I said, get popcorn. You get that little snuggle, you know, the little comforter that you wrap around your little ashy kneecaps, and you dial in. But what I heard and what I enjoyed was the budding friendship part reading. And so, of course, I want to talk about a few things. You have these 4 girls in 1950. Katie is kind of the troublemaker, right? She's the girl where whatever she puts her hands on is going to be detention and suspension and possibly expulsion popping off from that touch. But she's one of those characters where stuff happens. You know what I mean? They talk about dynamic characters, and you want to have characters that change and things like that. But part of that is they need to be proactive, and the rest of the world around them is reactive to them. And Katie was that type of character. CC is kind of like her shadow. She always wants to impress Katie. She's kind of like the girl with the big heart and things like that. So I don't want to spoil anything, but you kind of get what I'm saying with CC. Roberta is like the athlete. She's kind of like the girl in the group that will give the leader of the group, being Katie, a little pushback. And lastly is a girl named Sonia, who's really, really small, really, really quiet. Really quiet. She comes from overseas. And then you come to 2014 and you have this woman who, you know, is a journalist. Her sister was murdered 20 years ago. The boyfriend was convicted, you know, put in jail and things like that. But, you know, she still had that itch. You ever had that itch where you're like, okay, this certain thing happened in the past, but at the end of the day, I don't feel good about it. And journalists, and that's the wrong, you don't want to have a journalist that have that. You put those two together, where these kids in 1950, you know, run into a problem where one of them will disappear. Something will happen. I don't want to spoil anything, but you see the powerful connection that real friendship will have. Because if you're a real friend, man, you just do not let that go. No matter how many seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, years, decades will pass. I'm still your friend. I still want to know what's going on. But the plot was absolutely awesome. The plot was suspenseful. That's what I will say. It was very suspenseful. I think what made this book, you know, horror or scary was this boarding school that was just off in the middle of nowhere, and a lot has happened there. The setting of this big old building, you know, that's menacing looking, and then kids that, you know, specifically girls who are not wanted, end up stranded there with teachers who probably don't love them, meaning they don't love the job, they're just doing a job. And you know, there's rumors that there's a ghost here, there's been a ghost here, and then you start experiencing these things where it could be true. You know, it just popped off the page, just acres and acres of forests and trees and just stories of people being buried over there. And it's these supernatural experiences throughout the book when you read it that kind of scares you. I know she has another book, Simone St. James, what is it, Maddie Claire or something like that, the murder of Maddie Claire, or the history or something like that. Somebody help me out, come on, pray for me. I definitely want to read that book. I take all recommendations, but I definitely want to read that book. The way that she writes is straightforward. I mean, all books have that element of fluff, right? The romance, some chit chat, but you literally get right back to it. And it's cool the way she plots it, because it's like a low-hanging fruit where you want to grab it, but she makes it work where you know, you reaching for it. You like, okay, she's laying all of these red herring and these foreshadowing moments down, but it's still complex enough that when you reach up and grab it, you know, it's just, you know, it's yanked back up, The ending here did not disappoint. You wrapped everything up. You got to wrap everything up. Every single plot was plugged, man. I'm talking about shovels in the beginning, man, and just digging stuff out. And so you're reading throughout the book, you like, man, what is this about? What's this about? What's that? It's all these holes. But slowly but surely, they getting filled in. They getting filled right back in. And at the end, you know, the biggest of plot holes or whatever. I don't mean plot holes as in she messed up. I just mean, you know, questions. You know, the plot questions throughout the book was answered. And so the ending definitely didn't disappoint. Like I said, there was twists. There was answers to big questions. Things got wrapped up, and there was satisfaction. But that plot twist was crazy as hell when you figure out, you know, who a specific person is or what a specific person did, and, you know, even the murder mysteries and the pop-up of several other things that wasn't mentioned in the summary. That's what you want. That's what you want. You want to be able to read a book and get something out of it along with the thrill, but the thrill has to be that sort of ticket that gets you in the door. So now that I was in the door, let's talk about what I learned here. Now, like I said in the beginning, the friendship of these 4 girls, it slapped me over the face because I didn't expect that. The first thing that's mentioned when we're in Katie's POV is she don't like nobody. She don't like none of them people. She even got in a fight with some of them people. And, you know, she had multiple different roommates because, you know, sometimes it just didn't work. And so, you know, you get these 3 other girls in the room with her. You thinking like, okay, it's gonna be more of the same thing. But that's the good thing about organic friendship. When they work, they absolutely work, and it could happen for life. Wink, wink. You know, it was cool to see the loyalty. It was cool to see the concern whenever one of them was hurt, right, or going through it. It was a lot of care that went into it, and because they got so tight, they was able to weather the big storm, and that's the key. The big storm will come. Look, it's raining now. It's raining. The big storm will come. But if you have a tight-knit friendship, or friendships, that can literally be the strong beam in your bowels, so it doesn't break. And I promise you, if it wasn't for the 4 of them, right, and then later on it becomes 3, and that's the murder mystery that you have to read about. But my job is to go just a little bit deeper and talk about what you can learn from it. It's definitely the friendship. Is very important to this life that we live. Another one is resiliency. When it comes to Fiona Sheridan, the main character, a lot of people wasn't giving her no mind, man. She was dating a police officer. Police officers, journalists, probably not a good match. But if you believe in something and you got, you know, some type of love, and you doing it for the right reason, and you treasuring the right kind of things in life, and you got that resiliency, you know what I mean, people just gonna move out your way, you know, at that point. Now, I'm not gonna tell you how it ended, but I thought it was because of her resiliency that a lot of things that moved the plot happened, was because of her. And just grievance. There's a lot of grieving going on in this book. I think someone going through the process of grief can learn from this book as well. But the characters grieve in a certain way where they just cannot let stuff go. And that is absolutely awesome for a book. And you can literally sit down and reflect on the advantages that something like that would have on a story, and how you cannot put it down. If you have any kind of phobia of ghosts, do not read this book, or at least don't read this book in the dark. You understand? Get out of it what I talk about that you can get out of it, but it's creepy. Yeah, I'm here now. Now I know good and well I smelled cat. I wish like hell it'd run by me one more time. The horror elements are literally and figuratively to die for. Okay, maybe not literally, but I think it does its job in scaring you a little bit. But for me, and that's why there's 7.8 billion people in the world, because we're all different. For me, I like that it got me in the door with boo, you know, I scare you. I will scare you. What? In a book? Nah, you ain't gonna scare me in no book. I like that. But as soon as I get up in there, not only do they boo, scare you, but they teach you a little something about life. That friendship, again, even in the most dire and most horrific settings, friendship can literally get you through the toughest and scariest of storms, because they was all freaked out by this place and freaked out by their past, their present, and what their future could be. So friendship, and also the resiliency to not give up, especially if you love somebody, and also grief. It taught me a lot about grief and how people grieve, and it was so realistic, right? Everybody was different, and the girl who ended up disappearing, it actually felt so real that I was sad, you know. And I will admit that, you know, the ending, once you find out, you know, what happened to the girl and what's going on, it made me mad. Charlie Crawford's video died. That's what had happened. I hope you guys like that. I know you didn't see much, and you know, I'm a black dude. I'm a black dude, so you probably wouldn't be able to see me even now. But the point I'm trying to say to you is this. Thank you for watching the video. But at the end of the day, like I said, I gave it I think 4.5 out of 5 stars. I will read that book again. I want to get it in physical copy because I absolutely enjoyed the audio version. I want to read it again and just come up with a new experience. Hell, sit around the campfire, like I said in the beginning, and just read this. And hell, if my kid grow up and she like horror or the whole genre of just being scared, we're gonna read this around the campfire. And so I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. You guys be safe. Again, Simone St. James. I'm gonna research it, and I'm gonna try to find good books to support you that you have written. I'm that way. So Charlie Ray Crawford out. Let that sink in.